Hello, good people. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you and yours. Welcome to another episode of the God Pulse podcast. If this is your first time joining, my name is Lungelo, and thank you so much for listening in. And so today I think is going to be quite an interesting episode. I'm not alone today. I've got two very special people with me today, and they're a couple. They're a couple, and they're young, and they're very important to me, and they're doing very important things. The one I have on my left side, I'll start with the lady. Her name is Lerato, and the one I have on my right side is Lungelo, and they're content creators. And they're a young, engaged couple serving God and all that good stuff and in business and stuff. So without any further ado, guys, please introduce yourself to the peoples and tell them who you are, what you do, and all of that.
Good morning, good Hello everyone. It's good to be back in this platform. It's an honor to be invited again. That means I'm valuable.
I'm valuable.
Yeah, so my name is Lungelo, as you know me, if you have listened to my episode here. If you haven't, just go back and you'll find it. I'm with my beautiful fiancé.
Oh, wow. Hi guys, and I'm the beautiful fiancé.
Hello, beautiful fiancé.
My name is Lerato Kekana, and I'd just like to say thank you for the invite. Kishayo.
And you're not. That's the thing. You're not.
So let me tell you something. Last night when we were talking about this, she was like, okay, Pulelo invites me when we're talking about this topic.
Oh, no.
Why did I invite you?
Mara une input.
Deep. How? Guys. Yes, guys. As Blella said, we are content creators. We're YouTubers, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, guys. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, well, YouTube, what content do you produce?
Couple content. You know, we are teaching or showing people how to date and in Christ. You know, we're just showing off Christ's glory in like young relationships. You know, it's not all picture perfect, but we're getting it done.
Yeah, you guys really are. So, where can people find this content that you're making? Where are you on platforms so that people can find you if they're interested in the kind of content that you make?
Okay, as my beautiful fiancé has said, we are on YouTube as Luli. That's Lullee. Luli. And you can also find our podcast here on Spotify as The Luli Show. And then I am on Instagram. I'm real Lungelo Kunene, and Lerato is Inside Out Coconut 1. Yeah.
Yep. That's who I is.
Okay, so that's who you guys are?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So now that people know that there are these people on the episode and these are their names, this is what they do, it must be a thing of, why are we here? And what are we going to talk about? And if you've listened to the previous episodes, you know that we've been talking about things around basically sexual brokenness. And I say sexual brokenness because it's kind of our experiences outside of the covenant of marriage, and also things that sort of handicap us in a way when it comes to being the best that we can be in our walk with Christ. And so the reason that I wanted to talk to you guys today specifically is because, apart from the fact that you guys are just generally awesome people, and together you're just an awesome force.
That's good.
Apart from that, you guys also believe in God. You guys are also Christian, and you're very intentional about certain aspects in your walk with God, right? And you guys are also engaged to be married, and you guys are quite young. Yeah. So it made me think that like any other person out there, that Lerato has her own perception of the things that exist within within the realm of sex, and you perceive sex in your own way. Lungelo perceives sex in his own way, and everything that's got to do with that kind of stuff. And so I wanna find out from you guys individually. So I'll probably start with you, Lerato. So with you, what are some of the things that shaped your perception of what sex is, what purpose sex serves in one's life, how you fit in as a person with sexual desires? What molded those perceptions in your young mind, or your now in your 20s mind? What other things that contributed to you in that regard?
Well, firstly, the biggest thing, our family. Yeah. Like all our families, there's a certain aspect that your family has in the way you view sex. True. And for me, it has always been that. And I remember the first time I actually got my period. I saw my period when I was in grade 6, late grade 6. And the only thing my mother told me is that you have sex, you fall pregnant. That's just my first knowledge of sex, is that you have sex, you fall pregnant. So that's how I've always viewed sex growing up. From that time I had my first period till now. That's what I saw. And another thing, for me personally, I can't say I'm shy, but I'm reserved sexually. I'm very reserved. That's why I've never had any sexual activity with anyone, because it's something that I've not wanted to go into. Because I'm reserved, and secondly because you have sex, you fall pregnant. Yeah. So I just feel like that's just the whole ideal thing that I've had growing up. But now, at where I am, I've realized that people do have sex. You can have sex, and you can prevent pregnancy. And as Christians, also growing up in church, it's a thing of sex before marriage is a sin. So you grow up not wanting to do that sin, waiting for marriage. God knows when it'll come, but I grew up with that thing that this is not supposed to be done in outside of marriage. Yeah. And another thing I like telling people is that when I was in grade 9, my technology teacher actually taught us as girls that kiss them all but date no one. So for me, it was a thing. Yes. Yeah. She's like, don't give these boys that pleasure of you dating them. No, kiss them all but date no one. So I was in that thing that, okay, if now I don't date you, there's no way I can have sex with you. Sex before marriage is a sin. If I have sex, I'm gonna fall pregnant.
Oh yeah, you just like linking all of these things.
Yeah. So I've always grown up as that person. I tell you, I've kissed them all, but I've dated no one. Hence, I've never had any sexual activity until a certain point where the mind started revolving.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. And then Mr. Kunene, same question. What are the things that shaped you, or shaped your perception of sex? And how did you get to this point of the kind of ideals that you have around sex and your opinions and things like that?
Okay, for us boys, it's different, because whether at home they talk about it or not, you are with your boys, you're talking about this thing. So it makes you to want to have sex, because you hear them say, it's nice. And also growing up with boys, there's this thing that is like a status of how many girls have you smashed. You see? Yeah. So it's just something like that. It's just that I can say you end up doing something for your boys.
Okay.
Or you end up doing something just for the status. But praise God that we grow up and we get exposed to the Word of God, and then I got to learn that no, it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
There's so I had to cut it like way before I met Lerato. So yeah, it's just that.
Yeah.
Having to do something for the status, or having to have sex for the status, or just because you have these feelings and because you talk, because mostly as boys we don't hear about sex from our parents. Yeah, because maybe I think your parents think you are still young for them to talk about this. They don't actually know that when you are in grade 1, there are some kids that have heard someone talking about this, and then you start talking about such things. And it makes you to have that curiosity to say, okay, how is this thing? So you just grow up having this curiosity. You know? Yeah, so yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, I get that, né? And on all of that, especially with guys, and all of that, when you mention the fact that information and then you all come together with your young selves and you're talking about all these things. Have you guys ever had an experience where you are maybe exposed to things like pornography at a young age, or maybe very sexual images, so like Bomadi? I don't know if that was ever a thing this side, like Bomadi Playboy, and I don't know if you've ever heard Playboy, I don't know. But these magazines, some maybe women's health, men's health, some of them actually have those kind of illustrations, but they're animated. So did you guys ever come across very explicit sexual images while you're growing up that could have contributed to the way in which you perceive sex, other than the things that you guys generally mentioned right now?
I think I believe, guys, I'd like to believe that ETV was the death of almost everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like the problem started with ETV, and I feel like that's where a lot of us got exposed to pornography from ETV. And we, watching with, when you're watching something but you don't exactly know what's going on, but you're watching because you're not yet sleepy, and well, it's what TV is showing at that time. And funny enough, bad things have a tendency of keeping you attracted. I don't know, it just becomes a habit. It just becomes a habit. And I feel like at a point where I am now, I just feel like the whole pornography thing for me just started from there. I watched it to a point where I just felt like, you're just watching porn. Even if there's no feelings towards it, you just watch.
Because it's like presented to you.
It's like a movie.
So why not watch it?
That's
how it'll feel. Honestly. No, but that's how it'll feel.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because at that time you didn't even know what these people were doing.
Yes.
But you were watching. And slowly but surely porn became so normal to you.
It became so normal. That's the thing.
There's nothing wrong guy on it. You just it's a movie. We're watching. Life goes on. So pornography, guys, it all started there.
Well, with me it's different, well, I for one never had
an
problem or maybe a challenge with pornography, because I grew up in rural areas. We did not have a TV. Resources were not there to say maybe I'll get a magazine, cell phone, the only thing that you entertain yourself with was just radio. You just listen to radio, so you cannot say there's pornography in the radio. You see, so I think that's the reason why I never had any struggles with pornography, and I still don't have. Even today, because I was not exposed to any of that. So, but the only thing you would see when you go to the river and maybe somewhere far there, you'd see people
You'd see them
doing the thing there
at the river.
Yeah, at the river. They're doing that.
Yeah.
And because we bath
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
so it's like our own.
Oh, that's hectic.
Yeah, so you just see people down there. They're doing the thing. They thought there was no one, but
Yes.
then so who would know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just that. And so even though it was like that, not being exposed to pornography, but it's just
Yeah.
us talking about it
Yeah.
because someone saw some people doing
Yes,
it and was
yes.
like, hey, there's actually this thing.
This
guys.
thing, yeah.
If you get this girl, you do this and it's gonna be just that. Even though I was exposed to that, I had sex very, very late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting though, because I mean, when you would see things like that, did you know what you were looking at the time? Like maybe say the first time you saw it, you're like, hey, I want to answer.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We would know.
Okay.
We would know, like, because we would see the cows doing it. You're like, and you see a chicken doing it. Okay, they say, okay, see what they're doing. They're doing the same thing that the cows are doing.
Okay.
Because you grow up, they tell you that you were bored, you were bored, there was an aeroplane. I'm like, hey, this bit, I know when a cow is doing this, it's going to be pregnant.
Oh, I see.
So you just know.
You know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wait a second, Lerato. That's actually, you see, when you actually touch on the whole ETV vibe, that's actually crazy because I did not know it was a thing. I know I've spoken to maybe a friend or two, like maybe two people about it, but they're also guys, right? So I mean, I'm like, it's probably something that's rife among guys, but I didn't actually think it was a thing. I mean, if you think about it, it's like it's ETV, right? It's this content is being broadcasted nationwide, right? So it's not like, wow, it's only in my home and only in Mang Mang's home. It's like, you know, it's
something.
You understand? So that's actually that's true though, that a lot of us actually were exposed to pornography through national TV. That is actually so crazy. Sure, and sad. Anyway. But oh shucks, man. Okay, so now that I kind of understand y'all guys' background, right? As individuals and kind of how you guys were, you know, how different things played a part in shaping your idea or understanding of sex. When it came to you guys now getting together, and now you guys you were friends before, and then you started, you're like, hey, this person's for me. You got together, started dating, it was great. You're like, this is amazing. And you wanted to now get engaged, and now you're engaged to be married. What are some of the things that you have, I mean, have you guys in each other, so you looking at your partner and spending time with your partner and getting to know your partner, are there things about them that you've learned with regards to their past? Is there any sexual brokenness that you may have, I guess, spotted in your partner? Or okay, this person's history makes me think that they experienced maybe some kind of trauma here, or maybe they were misled in this certain area, or things like that. When you guys sit and talk about these things, would you say that you have maybe sensed any sexual brokenness in each other, just judging from what you guys have both been exposed to in your individual lives before you got engaged? Yeah.
Okay, I'll start.
Yeah.
I'll answer this. Well, Lerato doesn't, as she said, she's very, very reserved when it comes to that. And she did mention that the first thing that she had about sex is that you have sex, you get pregnant.
Yeah.
Of which is, I think that in a way shaped her view on sex in a way that it's not easy for her to just have sex. Yeah. For the fact that knowing that sex before marriage is a sin. That, and also the encounter that she had with her parents growing up, that you have sex, this thing happens. Yeah. So even though she knows that there are some ways that you can mitigate or prevent, still it's not it's not just something that she's free to do.
Yeah.
You see, so that's one thing that I picked up.
Yeah.
And yet I answer what I right? I answer
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I've picked up,
Yeah.
and then she will answer what
Yeah.
she has picked up.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just that I don't know.
Yeah.
When Lerato from me.
Like I feel like I don't think there's anything that I've picked up from him that I can say it's sexual brokenness or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, as he mentioned, there's like a whole lot of clash in the whole sexual thing, because boys will be boys, as he says, the whole thing about guys and the status. Okay, well, it's not mainly about the status, but men are physical beings.
Yeah.
So the desire to have sex more often than one can imagine,
Excuse me.
bless you. It's there for him, and I'm just like that reserved person. Like, can't do why? Is it necessary?
Yeah.
The things like that, and I'm like. And it's a whole other thing, and I could honestly, my aunt, my best friend, guys, she's someone who's like very open, that you can talk to, who like tells you it's okay, fine, I can see this thing of yours is getting a very it's getting very serious. There are contraceptives leaning. I could just bluntly say no, I don't want to have sex, even though I know I'm taking contraceptives. Because it's just not a thing for me. Because like ideally in my mind I'm like, this is wrong. We can't do this. I feel like I'm that. I could be Paul. I could be Apostle Paul.
I get you.
Honestly, I could do that. So I feel like that's why in our relationship we've spent a whole lot of time without having sex. Because for me it was never a thing. I did not. Okay, fine, I understood the purpose of having sex, but always having that thing at the back of my mind, hey, bruh, a baby might come out of here, and God is looking at us. What are we gonna say to him? I just feel like in our sexual life, the brokenness mostly comes from me.
But I don't think it's broken, man. I think it's just generally coming from a Christian background, and knowing that this isn't something that our God approves of, and therefore you try to avoid it by all costs, right? And it's understandable. I went on and lost my virginity at a young age and did all these things. I knew it was wrong, right? There was no clear conscience at any point, right? And I think it just comes from a point of being raised up in that way, and knowing that, okay, this is actually something that this God, this Father, this is something that he doesn't approve of. So I'm gonna try to avoid it. But as you go and as you grow, you start to realize that it tends to get a little more complex, and sometimes it doesn't feel as black and white, though it is. So it's like that. But yeah, I totally understand that, I really do. And I really appreciate that, you guys are, I guess you pay close attention to each other in different aspects of each other's lives, right? And that you don't necessarily ignore the one thing, because I know it's a tendency that I've seen a lot of people do as Christians. I know that I've done it as well, where you kind of want to pretend like this is something that doesn't exist, and it's like a blind area, like we're not even going to entertain it, we're not going to talk about it because it's not a real thing, but it's so real, So with that said, with you guys now being you're properly engaged and you are in the process of being married and everything, as a couple now, how do you guys view sex? How do you guys what do you guys think as young Christians of God wanting to protect us from experiencing things that will probably be detrimental to our salvation, or detrimental to the quality of life that we experience right? So things like having sex outside of marriage and things like that. So fornication and adultery and all those things. What are some of the, how do you guys perceive those things? What do you guys think about those things? And have you guys had any challenges with regards to those things that are said to sort of protect us, so things that we should avoid, as a couple? How do you guys deal with that whole thing?